Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the first ever FRA recap. Devin, it's going to be me, you, and Donald. We have to wait till Donald can fix his mic. If you folks listened to his interview last night, he sounded like he was from the 80s. Not trying to dog on him, though. Wow, what a first event we had last night, Devin.
Dude, it was insane.
Absolutely, and we already have a few trucks here for next week's event, which is Detroit. And I will give a quick little look at some of the trucks that are here. There's me and Devin. We are accidentally matching the trucks that aren't ours. It is Max D and Bounty Hunter. And then Devin, we have your truck actually that's going to show a bit of a preview of how to race the track for some of the drivers that are still entering later down this week on how the track goes. And there is also Gravedigger in the actual Digger 20. I think the Digger behind us is kind of an old build. One of Bryant's, I think. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's the old 20. So we have the new 20 here. My Digger 18, which is old. It lasted me pretty well, though, in freestyle, I'll tell you what.
It did. Took the lead.
I don't know if we're ever back allowed at Mini, but...
Sorry.
While we're here, we might as well go over points after they're officially updated. So if some of our drivers don't look at the sheet or just don't know, we'll give you guys a full points update. So after the first event last night, our overall winner, you don't get any points for overalling, but the person who walked out the most points was Donald in Maximum Destruction, getting 26 points.
Congrats, Donald. What an event he had.
Yeah, Donald's looking for his second ever Point Series Championship win.
He's well underway already.
Yeah, he would be the first person in FRA to get that. And although I think this is kind of a surprise here, second right behind him with only 2 points down, 24, is Shawn Ryan in Excalibur.
Yeah, Shawn is looking super comfortable in that truck, and he was telling me just before the event started that, dude, this truck doesn't fit him any better. He told me he's so comfortable in that truck that it's not even fair to the other competition. So sitting second right now, that's a huge testament to what he was saying.
Absolutely, and Shawn was so bummed about what happened in racing, where he pulled the Max D and tried to win. Unfortunately, I think Shawn would have gone all the way, if I'm being honest. I think he'd definitely be in a good points position right now if he had won.
Yeah, definitely, and not to mention Donald. Probably, dude, it would have been, could have been anybody's game last night if we're really being honest. If Donald didn't have that crash and Shawn didn't have that crash, it could have well been them in the finals. To be honest, but
Shawn might have been only 1 point down at that point.
Yep. But dude, let's talk about the next guy in points. A huge surprise.
I don't think anyone saw this coming at all.
I definitely didn't, but it's Drew and Predator sitting 2 points and 4 points behind first and second place in Predator. Dude, I did not see that coming. Drew's performance on Tuesday was just insane, dude.
Would I say there's a little luck for him in racing? Absolutely, because listen, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but he definitely got a huge win on me, who has no idea how Digger 18 really handles. It's a brand new piece. Devin, I finally had gotten comfortable on Max D, so I had to, and then I moved to Digger right after I got comfortable.
Yeah.
Finally got settled in Digger 20. Moves over to another truck, gets moved into. I mean, it's still a Digger, but the chassis is a lot different, a lot looser setup. But I will give Drew this. If I look at the bracket real quick, let me try pulling that up. He didn't. I mean.
Drew went out in the semifinals from no.
He technically did lose in the semis, but caught a
technically.
Break. But I will give him this. He did take out Tenacity and Escalade. No.
He did.
No. Wrong. That's wrong. He took out James, who was looking bad, fast, and Advanced Auto Parts Grinder.
Yeah, and that was another shock, dude. I was not expecting James to come out here and put on the racing performance he did. I mean, just insanely fast around that track. Unfortunately, succumbing to Drew in Predator, who had the 12th seed. He didn't do well in practice and qualifying, but I don't know what he changed in that truck, but he came out in the actual event and just tore the house down.
Absolutely. And even though he did lose against Maximum Destruction, I mean, you can't discredit him. He the reason why Maximum Destruction crashed is because it was such a close race.
Yeah, and Donald had to pin it across that finish line, causing his truck to nose over, and just keep on rolling
It
that way.
cartwheeled, I think, like 2 or 3 times. Thankfully, he didn't
Yeah.
go in. I don't know if he went into the wall. He probably did, and that's why Minnie hates us. Let's look at Max, though. No surprise for Max. He beat out Garrett
Yeah.
Harrison right off the bat in Safe Auto. And then he took out Zach, who, in my opinion, is still a great racer. And luckiest race of the night for Max was definitely him against Excalibur, because he literally almost... He had a 2-wheel save his truck to keep it from rolling in racing.
Both of them.
And Shawn, who I was like, oh, he's just got to take it easy, and then he rolled it. Shawn, unfortunately...
As soon as you said that.
Max never rolled it. Shawn rolled it and still tried winning, but at that point, Max was already out of the turn and into the jump. And then he had to face Predator, and unfortunately, something happened with Drew's truck. I don't know exactly what. It looked like there was something wrong. He might have blown a cylinder, potentially. Might have been only running on 6 instead of 7. The truck just did not seem to be performing like it had the whole night, and Max ended up getting the win. A lot of big upsets, I think. Another big one was Shawn taking out our last season's points winner, who was Hydro in War Wizard.
Yes.
That was huge. Hydro's not far behind. I mean, it's still the first event. He's 10 points back from first. I would still keep a close eye on him.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of new trucks for a lot of new drivers this season.
And it's only the first event, and don't get me wrong, the first event always gives me jitters, and I'm sure it gives you jitters, dude. It's our first event back, and not only that, but we're now live streaming it across the nation to these fans across the world. Just, you know, there was a lot of pressure that night, and for me, honestly, that first race, I had a lot of nervousness. I gunned it over the first jump. Freestyle flipped over early in freestyle, but you know, again, first event jitters, not too bad, but second event should be all right for everybody.
Absolutely, and I mean, yeah, it's only the first event, but we only have 8 more stops. This is a quick season.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately.
other things we completely didn't address in Mini is all the new things coming to FRA. We have Young Gun Shootout, which is brand new.
Yep.
We have the FRA Hall of Fame, which we will announce those drivers later down, or maybe at World Finals. I'm not sure yet. We haven't really mapped that part out yet. That's still new. We have the 2 inductees. We just can't spoil that quite yet, because I have still yet to receive word from either of the 2 if they're going to make that special guest appearance. I really need to try contacting them. I have been. But continuing on with points, in 4th place, no surprise here, Max with 21, only 5 points back. And then there's a bit of a gap after 4th place.
Shut up.
Let's see, 21, 20, 19. Yeah, there's a 3-point gap between 4th and 5th. I'm in 5th place with 18 points in Gravedigger the Legend. Devin, you're right behind me in Gravedigger.
I'm coming for you next week, dude.
Hydro's coming for you too, though, buddy. He's got 16, and Escalade
Yeah.
also has 16, Avenger with 15, Superman with 15, Grinder with 13, and then the unfortunate 2, Monster with 8, and Bad Habit with 2. Bad Habit did show. Unfortunately, his engine would not start.
Yeah.
And we still have a lot of drivers who weren't even in the event. We have Adrian, who did show up for intros in Donkey Kong, didn't compete though. We have Agolf or Ahmad Goff in Bulldozer, Jarius Jerry and El Toro Loco, Logan Wallard in Amsoil Shock Therapy, and Trent Fung in Scarlet Bandit. So, still a lot of drivers we haven't seen. We don't know if they've improved. My money on who's going to be the real big dark horse of the season, this is going to sound really weird, but I feel like Broken Thompson, if he can get that truck together for him, Avenger's going to be a threat.
Yeah, definitely. That truck has always seemed to work for him no matter what. So, like you said, if he's got everything working for him, he's a threat in that truck. And what better event to look at than last season's World Finals? He came out and just tore the roof down.
Absolutely, and I think that's going to be the huge key factor here. A truck I just realized we don't have in points is unfortunately Safe Auto. I just caught that mistake.
Oh, wow.
Yikes. Let me see how many points Safe Auto would have. Safe Auto would have 13. So
He'd be tied with James.
Yeah, he'd be tied with James. I'm gonna have to get me and Shawn together for that one because Shawn's the one who helped me organize this a little bit better. My bad, Garrett. If you're watching this, probably not, but my bad. I do have your points written down, just not on the sheet yet. I just
You know what? Speaking of all the new things that we're bringing to FRA, one thing that we are bringing back is the award ceremony. Can we touch up on that real fast?
Yeah, we're actually gonna do the award ceremony. We always say write that down, write that down. We never do it. This time we have footage so we can actually watch all of it. That was the biggest problem we had throughout the last 3 seasons, is that footage would get corrupted and or lost.
Yeah, well, dude, and I can't hype on this first event enough, dude. Just the amount of award nominees already coming out of that event is insane, and it's only our first event. And I was just telling you last night, Tim, that if everything keeps going the way it is, this season is going to be the best season of FRA. Mark my words.
I mean, considering the amount of awards that, nominees that happened in Mini, I can only, because I mean, if I'm going to be real honest, Mini's probably the worst track of the season.
I have to agree with you on that one because the freestyle layout was a little weird, but the racing ramps, I cannot get over those racing ramps. I don't know what the track crew was doing. I don't know if they were drinking before they went out and built the track, but those racing ramps sucked.
Yeah, okay, so I'm recapping on Donald's race with Predator. Drew had one of the best turns of his night, and Donald went really wide. All Donald saw was Drew was heading towards the jump a lot quicker than he was. If Donald had laid off a little bit, he would have seen that Drew completely hit the turning car and missed the ramp entirely.
Yeah.
And Donald wouldn't have pinned it so hard. I felt so bad for Donald.
Yeah, unfortunately, the officials are very hard on that rule that if the truck is damaged too much, you can't come back unless you can somehow get it fixed. Unfortunately, Donald suffering too much damage after that crash and just not being able to come back for racing.
I think the worst thing is that Donald's always been the victim of that rule.
Yeah.
He was the first person to take out Vincent Ackard back in Sudden Impact in Season 1, and he crashed and wasn't able to come back.
Yeah, and I'm going to knock on wood right now and say that I haven't succumbed to that rule yet, but I'm hoping it doesn't come this season.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen at Detroit now. Yeah.
Yeah, just because I speak it into existence.
Watching back on what happened with Max and Shawn's race, Shawn got him off the start, not by a whole lot, maybe half truck. What happened was that Max, after his first jump, turned a little too quick, and that front end hiked up, and it caused the back end to wash out, and he hit the brakes and it got up on 2 wheels, and he had to save it. And then at this point, Shawn has no idea what's happening, clips the car, completely rolls it. It's in reverse for him to save it, and then it's a mad dash to the finish. And by that time, Max had already crossed the line. Max beat Shawn by about a truck and a half, 2 trucks.
Yeah.
Wildest race of the season, I think. Wildest race of FRA so far.
And they have a award nominee for that race.
I think one of the craziest things was Drew's save in his freestyle, where he crossed up on the racing lane to the MX hill.
Yeah.
And it came down onto the red ramp, and he's upside down, Devin, completely. Here, let me screen share this with you so you can kind of understand what point I'm talking about. I mean, you know, but just want to make sure completely. Let me know when you can see the screen. Fans, I'd show it to you, but screen share is really awful when it comes to streaming. You can see Predator, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this save was absolutely ridiculous. You guys can look. It's at the minute. Well, it's at an hour and 2 minutes and about 4 seconds. Devin, this save.
Barely touching the ground. Getting it onto the nose and one-wheeled it. Just completely gassed it.
I think What needs to be noted, though, is the biggest save of the night.
Donald.
Donald doing the absolute funny. First of all, let's talk about how he started his freestyle. You want to talk about that, Devin?
There's just not enough words to be able to put together what Donald did in his run. I mean, it seemed like he was out there for ages, but it was only 2 minutes.
His first
He
hit,
started off on the buzz hit and just
the quickest donuts I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, absolutely launched it and then immediately slung it into some donuts, comboed it a little bit off the red ramp, and just drifted it into the bus ramp again. I mean,
why don't you tell the fans what it means to you when you see the first person you ever saw drift into ramps was myself?
Yeah.
And we all know what that means when I start drifting into the ramps.
It usually means that you're starting to feel your run and you're getting too comfortable in that truck, which just means you're going to turn it up even more than you already were.
It's usually towards the final 30 seconds when you start doing that.
Well, it's usually around there. Donald came out. Well, okay, so let's talk about what happened before. You went out there and left him, what, 2 points?
Yeah, I got
2 points to work with? Yeah, you left him 2 points to work with. So, of course, he's going to start feeling comfortable in that truck like he has been so far leading up to our first event. And, of course, he's going to start slinging it. It's what he had to do.
Second hit is when he started slinging it. And then the Tom Mentz moment where he's on the side and just floors it and saves it.
Yeah.
And then it's just an absolute tear. Donald's literally whipping the truck Max D style. Coming off the cars, hitting everything awkwardly. He was the only person who launched it perfectly over the MX hill without anything touching it.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest save is when he tried crossing up on the racing lane. And this is when, Devin, this is when me and you both said, oh, he's done.
Yep.
That truck should have no momentum.
For whatever reason, physics be damned. It somehow flipped it back over, or he flipped it back over, and I think you and I both lost our minds. And I'm thinking the judges lost their minds because he kept doing. He got a 39 at the end of the night.
And then look at his final hit.
Lands it,
Donut.
rebounds it, and uses the momentum from the rebound to get into a donut. I mean, just insane amount of driver skill shown right there.
At this point, Devin, unfortunately, I still got to figure out how to be able to screen share this with you guys on stream. He's still going.
Yeah.
Time is done. He's trying to flip the truck. Devin, I talked to him after the event. He was trying to flip the truck and he saved it.
Yeah, I don't.
Fine, I'll just park it on top.
I don't understand.
You came out trying your best. Very good effort. Me and Max were also really thinking, man, if you can keep this up, you got a shot. Because you started out like nobody else.
Yeah, I that's the one thing I took upon myself taking over Digger this season. Like you said when you took over Digger, I hope that that I can somehow at least match or even somehow get close to what Bryant left in this truck. And
legacy. And yeah.
So I drifted it into the ramps like we were just talking about. And unfortunately, the tire just got too much traction on the blue cars, and there was no way I was going to save it. Flipping over into the building, and unfortunately, flipping into the seats. Thankfully, all the fans that were sitting there got out of the way, saw what was happening, and got out of the way. Mini is not letting us back.
At least, well, they might. Well, we'll try cutting a deal. Devin. One thing we did not write down, though, is Air of the Year nominee. And because I talked to Donald about this, and he thinks it should be included. I'm not trying to get myself an award here, but Donald thinks I should.
Yeah, whatever.
Look at this.
Yeah, no.
I was terrified. I'm top deck, Devin.
Yeah.
You want to know what Donald told me when he saw that? He's like, that gave him mini 07 flashbacks of what Dennis did. And I downsided. Devin, when I tell you this, listen, breaking fourth wall, it's a video game. I'm going to practice. I had not done that at all. I had no clue what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Back
But
in a
going back,
character, I was white knuckling that whole thing.
yeah. Well, going back on my on the whole freestyle thing, me and Digger, I took a promise to myself this season, and I don't really want to say this just in case any of the other drivers are watching, and um, and steal this from me, but I'm going to try and start off differently from everybody else in the field every event. No matter what. I'm not going to hit the same thing at the same angle that everybody else has hit. So this season, I'm going to be starting off every run a little differently than everybody else. So at least you can expect some sort of first hit craziness from me. Middle of my run, I might just slow it down just a little bit, but that's just me trying to fill my time and still give you guys a Digger run.
Yeah.
But at this point, this season, I love Gravedigger and I want to see it win. But the season that we have now, it's insane. The drivers are insane. Donald and Max D seems to be just working, and I feel like that even if I don't win, at least I want to put on a show.
Well, the nice thing, Dev, is me and you went from absolute rivals to teammates, and we literally are trailer buddies.
Yeah, and now we're trying to figure out how we can team up against Donald.
Another thing I do want to talk about when it comes to freestyling is that no one was the same. The transfer, that's very new. I didn't know how to feel about it, Devin. When I tell you, I didn't tell you this, I was not planning on doing the hit that I'm about to show you. I was planning on going straight, and then the last second you can see me turn on. I'm like, all right, I'll try this.
Yeah.
And when I tell you that was the scariest moment of my life, that was terrifying because all of a sudden I see the red van coming up underneath me, and I'm like, I'm about to front flip. And I didn't back up here, Devin. Max was trying to figure this one out. Look at this.
Oh, I know. You brake super hard, and it somehow launched you.
I will say this. I am very glad that they did shut me off after a minute here because I actually bent a 4-link bar off of this save, and I didn't know it. Because you can see that my rear steer is cocked to the side. And I'm trying to figure out why I can't steer correctly. I broke the rear 4-link. This
Got it,
cool.
yeah.
Didn't count. And then they shut me off there because too much damage, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, it's, this season's gonna be insane, dude. I mean, there's no other way to put it. This season is just gonna be stupidly insane.
Oh, absolutely.
And another thing we should also mention is the transfer will not be allowed at every track. Only certain tracks this season.
It is allowed. It's going to be allowed here tonight in Detroit, but it's going to be very high risk.
Yeah. The transfers here at Detroit are just insane. I know you guys haven't seen the track yet, but
which we're going to be getting ready to show you here in a moment.
Yeah, I mean these like I said on Tuesday night, they show us a paper layout of the track of what they have planned, but you never know how big it's going to be until you get here. And when I tell you these jumps are insane, like World Finals level insane.
Yeah, and as we're getting ready to reveal the track to you folks now, this is what scares me. This is Donald's hometown. He's coming in from a great freestyle win.
Yeah.
And as we're showing the track right now, Devin, look at this track. Look at these ramps.
I mean,
if you want to go pull Gravedigger out real quick, have Gravedigger pull out and just kind of park next to the ramps just to give an idea of how massive they are before you take your little practice lap. We're going to get our camera crew to kind of zoom in on that. Look at that, Devin. That is taller than your truck.
Yeah. I mean, I'll park on the ground level here, right here next to this one.
We could stack another Gravedigger 20 or another Gravedigger, and it would maybe be the same height at that point.
Yeah, these ramps are insane.
Absolutely ridiculous. Dev, if you want to get ready and lined up for your little practice pass, show the drivers how this track is going to go. I need to put this camera. It's a little bit different. It's still Chicago, but it's different.
Yeah, you guys are going to be able to hear me from on board. It's a little loud in here, but you guys will be able to hear me. Instead of traditionally we start on the cars, but this event we're not starting on the cars. We're going to be starting right here in front of this roller, I think it's gonna be it's gonna make for some interesting racing. During this event. So hopefully we can get this figured out.
And as Devin's going, we do have a mic. He's been sitting in this truck this whole time, by the way, folks. I'm sorry.
You're good.
You have to
No, you're good. Just jump over the cars, come around the turn. Try not to get too far into the white. The officials.
A lot more clean. And that's it.
And then a final car hit, and you're done.
Well, it's 2 car hits. You had already done 2, you silly goose.
Oh, I know. That was the final one.
No, it wasn't. You end off on the lane that you start. You already did 2
Oh, really?
hits. Yeah. So the first car hit. Oh, Devin, I thought you knew how to race.
Wait a minute. Yeah, look.
No, you go over the roller, right? You hit the red ramp once, and then you hit the blue ramp once.
Yeah,
Yeah, you hit twice.
Oh, well.
You hit the blue one twice or the purple. Okay, boom, and then you have one more turn and 1 jump left, which is this one.
Okay.
Yeah, you accidentally did a little extra.
Well, the officials are telling me to keep going, so that's why I just kept going.
I think they just wanted you to kind of let the track layout go. And obviously, they're going to probably put in fresher dirt after, this practice or anything.
Yeah,
just
hopefully.
To show you guys what, the drivers or what you guys are going to be expecting to see next Tuesday. This is going to be a wild track, though, I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
and the transfer
definitely.
is allowed. Very, very freaking risky. Thankfully, Devin, I know a lot of drivers are happy about it. We had a lot of backlash. Well, not us, but the track designers had a lot of angry... It was an angry meeting after the event.
Yeah.
When we had that short intermission between freestyle and racing, a lot of the drivers were highly upset with how ridiculous those ramps were.
Yeah, well...
Thankfully here, it's been fixed, and it's a little bit better.
Now I'm kind of interested. What angle would you have to hit it at? It seems that would be the angle right there.
Yeah, probably.
That's just insane. I'm sorry. You guys might not be seeing this from me.
It's going to be interesting. I know racing is going to be fun. I'm excited. It's just overall going to be a crazy event. Thankfully, for what it was being our first event, trying out live streaming, it didn't go too bad. The stream did die for a minute, so you guys got to see intros and it cut off. I do sincerely apologize about that, folks.
All right, well, man, I don't know, man. I think the track crew's getting way too ahead of themselves with these ramps here tonight, or here for Tuesday.
Devin, they've given us the floor plan for all the other tracks. The one I'm most interested in is Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, our last event, man.
San Antonio even looks absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know what they're trying to accomplish here. I think it's Chicago. They haven't given us every detail, but I think it's Chicago.
It looks to be some sort of Chicago, yeah.
I don't know what we're gonna see here next week at Detroit, man.
There's gonna be a lot of interesting stuff happening.
These ramps are massive, dude. I got my crew chief right now pulling Legend up to the ramps so I can just get a good look at how tall it is compared to my truck. And Devin, my truck is a little bit shorter than 20. Look at the height difference between my poor truck to yours.
Yeah, I wonder if your crew chief has butterflies pulling up next to that.
Dude, I'm gonna have butterflies when I get on this track. Because after, I believe tomorrow is when we're actually given the green to really do our qualifying and practice and see where we seed in the bracket. Tell you what, the track crew worked vigorously in one night that they got this all set up.
Yeah, well, hats off to them, but again, I don't know. Maybe they were tired and didn't realize they built them this high. I don't know, dude. These are insane.
I think it's going to be our best season yet.
And our shortest.
And our shortest, but well, not our shortest. Last season, I think, was only 10 events. It's just there was a lot of delays that happened.
Easy, crew chief.
All right, well, I think we really covered everything for the first week, man.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a whole lot to talk about because it is only the first event. You know, the more events we have, the more deep and longer these little podcast / recaps we're gonna have. Also, be on the lookout for an actual podcast that is gonna be happening soon between me, Devin, and a few others.
Ooh, a little foreshadowing.
This is kind of a podcast for now. It's just really just seeing if we're able to continue a conversation, which we can. Trust me, if you can get me and Devin started, when I talk to Devin about my podcast idea, I think it'll work because it'll be actually really good. Don't want to spoil that just yet, but once Donald maybe gets a new mic and fixes himself or something, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe get a few others on. I wouldn't mind just us three, though. Or more. I'm kind of fine with whatever happens. Heck, if it's just me and you, we can do it. It's possible.
Definitely.
Yeah. FRA recap number 1. We're going to have one each week. We're going to try doing them on Thursdays, most likely. And we'll try having some of the drivers of, FRA coming on. Maybe winners or people that had really bad wrecks or something crazy happened. We'll try getting what their point of view was of it, how they felt about the event, and how they're feeling coming into the next one.
Yeah, definitely.
Try getting Max and Bounty Hunter. Obviously, Donald, the driver, Max D. I definitely want to try getting Shawn on one soon. Shawn would be interesting because with how comfortable he is in that truck, Lord.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody likes it. That truck is working perfectly for him. But as always, Devin, this has been the first recap. Not a whole lot to talk about, but a whole lot to look forward to.
Heck yeah, man. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, short but very fun little recap that we were able to pull off. This is Tim, driver of Graveyard Legend, signing off. Devin?
See ya.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.